This is my third time recording a Rylands video because I accidentally had a random note that was not in the right place, and I kept reading it and going, wait, that's wrong. So, Rylands. Rylands versus Fletcher. Fletcher versus Rylands, sorry. So, Fletcher versus Rylands, very important case. Essentially, this comes in and says, we're doing strict liability, shut up with your negligence nonsense. Facts of the case. Fletcher is the neighbor. Rylands builds a dam, makes a reservoir on his property. The dam ends up leaking into a mine of his neighbors. His neighbor sues. And originally, he sues under negligence, and the court agrees. And then the next court gets in and says, you're right. It was negligent, but that doesn't matter. Strict liability. And here's the quote. It's pretty simple. The person for his own purposes, brings on his lands and collects and keeps there anything likely to do mischief if it escapes, must keep it in at his peril, and if he does not do so, is prima facie answerable for all the damages for which the natural consequences of its escape. Essentially, strict liability is what we're doing. Stop trying to not do strict liability. That was the ruling in the case, and it was a big deal, right? We're saying that's what we're doing now. There are two defenses, act of gods or plaintiff fault. These are the two that are brought up. There are other defenses. But basically, the dam breaking was an act of God. Say a once-in-a-lifetime storm, or even just a really above-average storm. Act of God. Not your fault. Okay. Second option, plaintiff's fault. If the plaintiff blew up the dam, usually you shouldn't be responsible for the damage to the plaintiff. But there are a lot more other cases, right? Say the guy dug his mine too close to my dam. That's his fault. Right. This established a couple other things, right? Like tame animals that trespass on land and then cause harm. Not the fault of the owner if that trespass is unreasonable for the animals. So like if a cow escapes and eats a dude's grass, that's your fault. But if a cow escapes and then kills a dude, it's not your fault. Cows don't kill people. That's not what cows are up to all day. They can, right? Cow escapes. It's certainly liable. It's certainly possible somebody kills somebody. But under Rylands, literally they say you would not be in that exact case. This is the case they bring up. Right, so ultra-hazardous activities have a really high duty of care, is something they're pointing out here. So, now, there is a turn on this, which is Turner versus Big Lake Oil, which is the U.S. saying, screw you and screw your Rylands. East Texas says, well, you brought up this whole concept of natural, right? This whole concept gets brought up in Ryland, right? Any natural activity, you can't be at fault for, right? So, if poison ivy grows on your land, and that it just naturally does that, it's not your fault. Texas says no. Turner versus Big Lake Oil. They say no. Because here's what happens. Turner builds a water retention system, which he has to do. He needs that. Otherwise, he would dehydrate to death. Because have you been to East Texas? I have. Yeah, you need water retention systems there. So as a result of that, they're saying that is a natural activity, but also doesn't matter that it's natural, right? Is another argument that, no, he's not. There is negligence. Negligence has to happen. That's the U.S. position, is negligence is a thing. So Brown v. Collins, another U.S. case, it rejects Fletcher. In this case, dude loses control of his horses, and they get spooked, and they run into a lamppost. I love how many law cases have just the dumbest facts behind them. Guy loses control of his horses and runs into a lamppost. I'm pretty sure I've seen that in a Looney Tunes cartoon. Anyway, so this rejects Fletcher and says no. He was skillful, he was careful in taking care of his horses. Negligence has to happen. And then Powell v. Fall is another British case, which is another Ryland cases. You do damage, you pay for it. That's strict liability. And this eventually evolves in another direction. But that's basically where we stand from Rylands, and then the counter cases to Rylands. All right, and we will do cases next.